and welcome back to my channel. In case you're new here, my name is Jess and I love doing DIY, making clothes in a simply but free way. In today's video, we're going to make a very high requested DIY. Yes, it's a cottagecore dress and you see it in the title of the videos. I saw the design of this dress a lot when I searched for cottagecore fashion. In fact, I saw it before too, but at that time I thought that the design at the bust is not for the small bust person like me. But it turned out I was wrong. It's the perfect dress for the small bust person. So if you have the same concern, don't worry, it's gonna look good on you. And before we start, if you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you wouldn't miss my upcoming DIYs. And let's get started! I used 3 meters of soft cotton fabric for this DIY. The first step is making the pattern for the top part of the dress. I cut a rectangle with 26 cm length, which is the length from the top of the breast to the belly button, and 42 cm width, which is a half of my bust size. I draw a straight line in the middle of the rectangle to divide it into 2 smaller ones. After that, I draw a horizontal line at 11 cm under the top line of the rectangle. It's the length of my breast. From the straight line, I draw another straight line at 2 sides, 15 cm away from each other. So the width between 2 new straight lines will be 30 cm, which is the width between 2 inside shoulders. At the cutting point between the first straight line and the horizontal line, I move up and mark at 3 cm on the straight line. Then connecting this mark to the mark at the middle of 2 straight lines at each side. Based on this line, I draw a curved line there to create the curved line from the middle between 2 breasts to 2 sides of the breast. I also draw 2 curved lines based on the straight lines at 2 sides to connect to the curved line I just drew before that. At the top of the bust area, I mark at 1 cm outside, then connecting these marks to the mark at 3 cm under the top of the length lines of the rectangle. It will be the connecting part with the sleeve later. From the end of the first straight line, I mark at 2 sides 16 cm, which is a quarter of my waist size. Then connect these marks to the marks on the length lines at the sleeve area. I connected to the wrong mark in this step, so I have to change it later. Add extra 1 cm for seam allowance before cutting. Apply this pattern to make the same one for the back bodice pattern. I draw a straight line at the middle of the pattern to divide it into 2 parts. Then I draw another straight line at 1 cm next to it. So after cutting by this drawing line, you will have the back pattern of the bodice. At the front pattern, I add 1 cm for seam allowance at the bust area, then cutting along to finish the front bodice pattern. To make the bust area pattern, I cut a rectangle with 14 cm length, which is the width of my breast, and 30 cm width, which is 1.3 times a quarter of my bust size. On one length line, I mark down at 8 cm, which is the length of the breast minus 3 cm. Then connecting to the marks in the middle on the width line next to it. Then based on this line, I draw a curved line to create a curved line from the middle of the breadth to two sides. I also draw a curved line on the length line to connect to this curved line. It's similar to the way I created the bust area on the front bodice pattern. Because I will have a fabric hole at the top of the bust area, so I add 1 cm extra to create a fabric hole later. Don't forget to add 1 cm for seam allowance before cutting. And you will have the bust area pattern of the dress. To make the sleeve pattern, I cut a rectangle with 30 cm length, which is the length of the sleeve that I want, and 60 cm width, which is 4 times the width from the shoulder to the armpit. I fold the rectangle in half on the width line first. Then from the end of the folding, which is on 2 length lines, I mark at the middle. I use the front bodice pattern to mark the length of the sleeve part there to the sleeve pattern. From this new mark, I mark out at 2 cm to have extra fabric to create a fabric hole at the shoulder of the sleeve later. Then I draw a curved line from this mark to the top of the folding rectangle. I want to make the end of the sleeve a bit smaller, so I mark up 5 cm from the end of the folding rectangle. Then connect it to the mark at the middle of the length line I made in the beginning. And we will have the sleeve pattern after cutting. You will need 2 pieces for the front bodice pattern, 4 pieces for the back bodice pattern, 2 pieces for the bust area pattern, and 2 pieces for the sleeve pattern. As one side of the bust area piece, I fold the end fabric inside and sew to finish it. After that, I draw a horizontal line at 4 cm under the top one. Then folding the end fabric into this line to create a fabric hole there. I cut 2 long rectangles with 4 cm width and around 40 cm length. I fold 2 ends of the rectangle inside around 1 cm first, then keep folding again to create a tie. I use a small safety pin to put the tie through the fabric hole. Then sew one end of the tie to one end of the fabric hole to keep it there. After sewing, I make a loose seam at the end of the bust area piece to create a gathering fabric there later. Make sure the final width of this part will be the same with the width of the bust area on the front bodice piece, so you can connect them together later. When connecting the bust area piece to the front bodice piece, make sure you have 1 cm extra at this part so you can connect to the other front bodice piece later. After sewing, I connect 2 pieces of the back bodice to the front bodice at 2 sides. As I said, when making the pattern, I draw a wrong line at the side of the front and the back bodice pattern. Therefore, I have to make a new seam when connecting them together at the side. I do the same when connecting the second front bodice piece to other back bodice pieces. Moving to the sleeve, I draw a line at 4 cm under the curved line on the shoulder part of the sleeve first. Then I fold the end of the fabric to this line to create the fabric hole there later. After sewing, I fold the sleeve in half, then sew into under armpit line together. From the end of the sleeve, I draw a line at 4 cm inside it. Then fold the end fabric into this line to create a fabric hole there. Now I'm putting the elastic band to the fabric hole at the sleeve. I use 1 cm width of the elastic band with around 30 cm length for the shoulder part of the sleeve. Make sure the final length of this part will be 15 cm, which is the length from the shoulder to the armpit. Don't forget to sew 2 ends of the elastic band to 2 ends of the fabric hole to keep it not moving. For the end of the sleeve, I cut around 24 cm length of the elastic band, which is the width of my arm. Close the fabric hole there after connecting 2 ends of the elastic band together. Now I'm connecting the sleeves to the top parts of the dress. Remember to keep 1 cm extra at this part to connect to the other piece of the main parts later. So you can hide on the seam inside and will have a well done top parts not only outside but also inside. After sewing, connect 2 pieces of the top bodice together. Moving to the bottom part of the dress, I fold the fabric between the width and the length together first. Then I check and mark on the folding line where it's 18 cm between 2 sides of the folding fabric. It's a quarter of my waist size plus 2 cm. Then I draw a circle line from this mark to create the waistline for the bottom part of the dress. From the folding line, I measure the width on the circle line and mark at 18 cm, which is a quarter of my waist size plus 2 cm. From the waistline, I mark down at 80 cm, which is the length from the belly button to over my knee. It's the length of the dress that I want. Then drawing another circle line there. After cutting by the drawing line, don't forget to cut at the folding fabric too, and you will have 2 pieces of the back of the bottom part. Drawing the same folding circle fabric to make the front of the bottom part. However, don't cut at the folding line. At the top circle line, I mark at the middle, then connecting this mark to the mask at the middle on the bottom circle line, then cutting by this drawing line, and you will have 2 pieces of the front of the bottom part. I connect 2 pieces of the front together first, then mark at 30 cm under the waistline. So the rest of them will be open and become the slitted part of the dress. Therefore, I fold the end fabric of them inside 2 times and sew to finish it. Now, I'm connecting the front and the back of the bottom part together at 2 sides and sewing. After that, I connect the top and the bottom of the dress together at the waistline. I use a long invisible zipper around 50 cm for the back of the dress. After fixing the zipper to the dress, I connect the rest of the dress together. The last step is finishing the end of the dress. And I finished this DIY. Here's my final result. It's truly a dream cottagecore dress. Now I know why it's so popular. So I hope you will try it out. See you next week.